So, welcome back to another episode of the Success Stories. And I'm Shabanara, I'm the Chief of iThrive Academy. And we have another yet successful alumni from our course. So, Nidhi, thank you so much for joining us. So, can you
Thank
just,
you for having me.
yeah, can you just introduce yourself, please?
Okay, so my name is Nidhi Bahel. I live in Mumbai and I used to be a chef and a food consultant. Now I do the other side of food, which is I teach people about what to eat, etc. So I've been doing it for 2 years, and so the first year, I mean, I was just like I did a couple of courses, struggling through myself, etc. Did it for family and friends, right? And then I thought I should, lend a little more structure to my course and career because I got interested. So the thing is that about 3-4 years back, we opened a restaurant, right? And it was like a lot of focus on fresh food, health food, etc. And we lost my dad in the middle of it to cancer. So, it was a wake up call for the whole family to reevaluate their nutrition, what we ate. And subsequently, I got really interested in that. So the tragedy really like forced us to like, take a hard look at what we ate. Like, because we were also always sick, like PCOD, asthma, antibiotics, and the rampant use of that in my family. I feel and lifestyle abuse is what led my dad to this path. So then I decided to get into nutrition. I did a tasting course and a very short nutrition course from Harvard, actually. And, that was very interesting, but it just wasn't enough. So then I found you guys. And, I thought I'd give a little more structure to my course. And while you guys, like just before actually I found you guys, I had a very interesting opportunity where a Californian company approached me to be a consultant for a brand where they took adaptogens and nootropics, and they basically wanted me to marry that with food. So they wanted, before anyone was doing the chocolates with the ashwa, or like the we you drink this wonderful strawberry tasting drink and then it'll help your PCOS. There were these people who wanted to do all these lovely lattes and truffles and pastries and crazy things like crystal infused water with like, you know, charging crystals, etc., etc. So I was like, this is a really fun thing. And then I found you guys, and I actually didn't realize how much I didn't know. So that was how I
And it's
began.
very common. You don't know how much you're lacking in a field or how much knowledge you can gain more till the time you don't go deeper into it. Like, so
Absolutely.
you feel that you know everything, but once you start going deeper, you just have this feeling that, wow, I don't know anything. And that's
Yeah.
kind of like a defeating feeling to have initially, but it's very, it pushes you a lot.
Absolutely. And the way, you guys like, so I was not obviously from a scientific background. As I said, I just did a couple of courses on nutrition and a couple of courses on taste. So I was interested in how our biology and body chemistry, etc., reacts to everything. And how epigenetics influences us and stuff. But I wasn't like from any sort of formal scientific background, right? But you guys made things so like easy, and it was like, as you said, right, unlearn, learn. And that's just what I did. I just kind of flowed with the entire syllabus, and I enjoyed every lecture, to be very honest. Okay, even the biology part of it, the diploma course, that was a game changer for me.
So for people who don't know that, what the diploma course is, we have recently started a mentorship program, right? So if you are a certified ICFN student, like you're an ICFN pass out, successful pass out, you get an opportunity to go for the mentorship program, which is basically a chance to work one-on-one with a nutritionist who's working at iThrive. And you get to work on real life case studies and everything. And we felt there was need for that because there was not a lot of practical aspects that you can understand the science through,
Yeah.
right? For a lot of people, they're comfortable with just the knowledge, the theory, and they're able to practice on their own. But some people need that practical hand holding as well. So which
So
is
Shagun, I feel like correcting you there. I think everyone needs to be doing the diploma course because I feel, I know a lot of my batchmates, they are like, practicing nutritionists, etc. But, sometimes, like, of course, everyone has evolved their own style. Just like anyone in the medical field will have their own way of like treating, say, a heart condition. I think, every functional nutritionist also will have a different approach. Some will combine Ayurveda, some will combine like lifestyle changes, which we might have heard of or not heard of. But then the diploma really kind of narrows everything down. Like you're not, like why, like you're thinking creatively still, but at least it gives you a sort of outline to color inside. I've been encouraging anyone that please do it, like it's really amazing. And the stuff that you like I learned, like I think I didn't even learn from my Harvard course, to be very honest. So that was a really fun thing and very good thing. I think I invested it in and did.
I think, yeah, that's the internship part, right? It literally after every degree, you will do an internship to gain that practical knowledge, right? So
Yeah.
we also felt that is something that we can include as part. It's optional, of course, but yeah, since you recommended that everybody should be going through the mentorship program, should be opting for the diploma, I completely agree with you. So no double thoughts there. But tell me one thing, Nidhi, I'm pretty sure you look in the market for other courses as well that can tell you
Yeah.
about nutrition. And functional nutrition is not something that's very common,
Yeah.
right? So what actually pulled you to the ICFN course?
So I thought your modules and syllabus was very international, keeping up with a lot of like, principles that like we now accept as nutrition. And it wasn't just about, counting macros and not really looking at the bio individuality of anyone's body. Just like, if you go to a traditional dietitian, it's all about the calories in, calories out. The way you guys taught us how to run those root causes, by using the blood test reports and then being like, okay, you know what? The problem for, like, say, like for weight gain, because that's the main problem that you would go to a dietitian for, right? Like I would say that 80% of people
Mostly
who go,
conventionally, that's the
yeah,
idea.
conventionally go off for that. But instead of the like counting macros and stressing the client out and being like this is measure this and weigh this and strictly adhere to like these sort of portions and one size fits all sort of thing, running the RCA and that, the on the blood work and everything, it just made healing like, you have to look at it in a completely different way. And it works because rather than a lot of nutritionists who cut calories to say like, okay, we are going to like bring this calorie down to 800 and then like make you work out for 4 hours, people are like, it's a long-term lifestyle change which people are happy to incorporate and be like, look, you know what, I managed to keep the weight off, I'm actually healing, and I'm not stressing, and this is not a short-term fix. So I really like that. And also you guys used a lot of markers that are really relatively new. Your research is really up to date. I do all your courses, by the way. uh so yeah, so I've done every course. And I'm in the middle of three and like keep switching and etc etc, considering that I have these now, like touchwood, I have all these clients who come in and they have different issues, so I can just refer to the courses and stuff. So even those, like the way leptin was taught, who is even teaching it, who even knows about leptin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel it's the next buzzword, leptin. I think everyone who's watching this should do that course for sure, because it's the next thing. We are so fixated on weight loss, okay, and so many of us have lost touch with our bodies and the basically our circadian rhythms, right? That who knew that just modern day lifestyle could set the leptin resistance off, you know honestly. So that was one thing which I thought was really cool and different. Other markers like homocysteine, then you guys are always doing those advanced tests, wonderful. So
I
you
don't
know
think there's a limitation to the knowledge that even we can learn about it.
yeah,
Everybody. It's
yeah,
beautiful how vast it is, even though it's a very niche field.
Yeah, I
And
love that. I love that. And but then also you'll at least shifted like you'll sort of separate the chatter, okay, from the actual information, because I feel a lot of anyone can have a account on Instagram, anyone can spew any information, okay, but I like the way that you guys always cited that this was the evidence, and I would go and read the evidence papers also. I mean, I'm a lit major, so I love reading. Okay, so as much knowledge as I can get is probably going to be not enough for me this lifetime, but I love the fact that you guys cited stuff and it was very evidence based. My scientific mind could, relate to that. It wasn't some like fanciful thing, which a lot of, I won't mention them, but a lot of branches of healing use. Where it's like you just have to accept that no, listen, we're going to use this herb and we're just going to accept it as gospel because it's been passed down traditionally, and there's actually no research been run on it, there's no evidence, but you just have it anyway and you're going to be okay.
a lot of people also have this thought, right? That functional medicine, functional nutrition, it's quackery and everything. And like
Yeah.
nobody wants to believe that it's actually science. We
Yeah.
teach with science, we teach with data, we teach with evidence,
Yeah.
right? And we work on clients ourselves at iThrive,
Yeah.
right? We see it in front of our eyes, what changes we see with our clients with all the
Yes.
things that we give. And I'm sure you've also seen it with your clients
And myself.
and
Yes.
yourself, which actually leads me to my next question. Like, since you've completed the course, what are the changes that you've seen? Like, there was a tragedy that happened to you, which is what
Yeah.
pushed you to actually rethink your life choices. So,
Yes.
how has it changed you personally and professionally?
So I think nutrition. So I feel. I mean, this is not about like a sense of control or something, but I just feel that by learning, the true path to nutrition and like biohacking and using all these wonderful techniques, and even getting in touch with like what we were meant to be, like for example, our circadian rhythm, etc. It's really helped me feel that that you don't have to be sick. We just take illness as a part of like, oh, you're old, or oh, you're genetically predisposed to this.
Yeah, because like diabetes has become, oh, are you 50?
Yeah. No, or like even like thyroid. Like for example, I'm a hypothyroid patient. I was on like a very high dose of thyroxine, and now I don't take it at all after the iThrive course. And I also did the thyroid course, which was extremely helpful. So I just feel that at least now there is like another way to think about illness and health, right? So I don't like everyone used to tell me, oh, it's okay, that's fine that you're like not going to be thin and lose weight. Like I was always after those elusive 3 kilos of like, array, it's not happening, this weight loss, I would starve myself. It was an unhealthy cycle, like all of us have been through at some point in our lives. But the fact that there's another way to think about it and I don't have to like be genetically predisposed to everything, that's so freeing and liberating, you know. You just, it just works.
So that I know I've heard about you actually helping yourself through this personally, but professionally also, like, have you started practicing? What is
Yes. So earlier it was just family and friends, but now like because like friends have actually seen a good response, and they've like probably like I addressed a lot of their underlining issues, like maybe a hidden autoimmune condition start off that they've not realized they had, or an underlining like start of a pre-diabetes and everything because of the fact that we can use these biomarkers. I just feel that everyone like around me is like now starting to really respect that branch and not think of it as quackery. And at least word of mouth is spread so much that that's what now I have a lot of clients who come to me and they're like, oh, I heard you help this one and I heard you help that one, so and it's
you didn't even like advertise yourself, you didn't have to put yourself out there on social media. It was just people saw the changes, they just
Yes.
thinking about it.
Yes, and that was it was really nice in a way, you know, because I'm honestly camera shy. Not that it comes across like this because I'm like so chatty and whatnot, but I'm generally camera shy. I generally tend to stay away from Instagram and stuff. Like I'll post very briefly, etc. But the fact that so many people are starting to trust me because and my sort of thing, and also just to switch to one thing which has really helped is that you guys are very practical in your approach. It's not like if you don't have structured water now, then really bad stuff is going to happen to you. Like a lot of fear mongering in other areas of nutrition, right? So that practicality has really helped because when I talk to like clients and stuff, right, what's attracting them really a lot is the fact that everything is very practical and doable. It's not some crazy diet where you're drinking like cow's urine or doing extreme like workouts,
Or
and
extreme
extreme calorie
fasting,
restriction. Yeah,
calories.
absolutely. So I think that's really helped me attract a lot of clients. And the diploma course, please, I cannot recommend it highly.
Clearly, it's coming through as a very strong recommendation.
Yes, yes, it is. It really is because that really like was the structure of like how to do a diet plan and then allow the little things, like it's not really just about a menu for lunch, dinner, and breakfast, but a lot of the other things that Paki, my mentor, told me to incorporate, like oh, why don't you tell them about sun exposure, and how about like sleep and following your circadian rhythm, my new favorite thing to do,
And
stuff like that. Yeah.
okay, so I'm actually really happy. I know you told me also that, after the mentorship program was done, after you got your diploma certificate, it was just like a flip side of confidence of practice that you got after it.
So absolutely, that's so well put. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
So, coming down to more fun questions that I have for you, which
Okay.
was your favorite topic or module? Pick one.
The functional nutritional strategies for sure, but also the blood markers. Like I didn't know like having low neutrophils or like a high ESR could mean all these hundreds of things. It was so cool that you can just look at a blood report, even a CBC, simple CBC, and you can get like it's an X-ray vision into your clients' insights and what's happening and their health conditions. It's crazy. Even the fact that you guys included stress and emotional health in that module, that was amazing. I love that. I honestly think it should be a different course, and you guys should do like just charge your weight in gold for that. That was really good.
We are trying to stick to our specializations. Hopefully, we'll collaborate soon with some mental health expert also for good courses for that also. But yes, why we touch upon mental health and stress
Yeah.
in the course is also because it is an aspect of health and it's a very
Yeah.
critical one, especially in this age.
Yeah.
So, of course, we love talking about it. I teach it as well, so I don't know it's my passion. But like once I start, there's no stopping me. But I will stop because now my next question is, which module did you hate the most? Like
Which module I hate the most? Uh, EMFs. I'm a little of a bit of a non-believer because like I just feel that I can switch off my Wi-Fi. I would love to. I switch it off at night, but my neighbor's not going to switch it off on either side. And the city has decided that Wi-Fi is the only way to go. So we have some gazillion towers all over Bombay, uh, touting it as a smart city. So you can go on the street and get Wi-Fi. So there's really no escaping EMFs.
That's fair. I mean, that city life is just like this urban village that's built. It's
Yeah.
filled with radiations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing you can do about it. So I felt that I sort of told myself that it's okay now. You don't scare yourself with this because you can get into paranoia situation. So just absorb and I appreciated the solutions of how to like fix your mitochondrial health and stuff. I just took it as like we can do this because we can't really negate the EMF effects.
Yeah, so you can't negate it, but you can mitigate it.
Yeah, yeah.
as much as possible.
So that's the only thing. So I mean, I wouldn't say I hated it. I just,
The practicality of it.
yeah, was just like just defeated me. I was like, okay, you know what? I live in Bombay. I give in. I'm resigned. You know,
But don't you think it'll be good knowledge to give to your clients and like advisors if they want to take it away from you?
yeah, I'm sure. I think, you know, I don't know. I think people in Bombay are not paranoid about radiation at all. Our phones have become our second limb. Okay, so I think there's no escaping that. And no matter how much you tell anyone that, you know, you have to put your limbs outside the room before sleeping and leave them in the hall, our houses are only so tiny that, you know, it's honestly, there's no escaping that. So we just, EMFs and us just have to coexist.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And out of everything that you learned, okay, did you understand? Were you able to grasp the content? Was it easy to apply for you? How was the whole infrastructure of the course for you?
I think it was easy to like a non-scientific background student speaking here, and I think it was really very interesting, very fun, and you know, even the biochemistry part of it, which should have been really difficult for a non-science student. I just feel that the way you guys did that, like it was just like uh 101. So it was easy to understand. It was like a foundation course, really good. Then as you know, the Padma Shri said that it's okay, you go and like now you do your own explorations, which I did also. I was that geek who did it, but you know, it was really honestly not tough at all. So I would just say if anyone was interested and didn't have a scientific background and would get deterred from doing the course, that they should give it a shot.
So, Nidhi, I want to know your perspective because this happens very commonly with us and as administrators and managers of the course, right? We get this a lot, especially for non-science students, and you come from the same background.
Yes.
They have this feedback that, it's overwhelming for me sometimes, or I don't know what to do or what not to do. So, in our course curriculum, we try the best to start from basics, right? From anatomy and physiology so that it builds up the knowledge gradually.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what were the things that you did for yourself that made it actually easier for you to go through the course? Like,
Yeah. So sorry, Jagan, I interrupted you. Go on.
no, so I was just asking if you've done like extra research. Did you go invest more time into reading and understanding, watching videos? What did you do?
So actually, to be very honest, I saw the lectures twice. So once I just like I attended the classes and then I went at the lectures twice. And what I did was like I would keep stopping and making notes. And I asked a lot of questions in class. Things I didn't understand or wanted like more stuff, I would research, of course, which all of us, like, I think anyone who's interested in functional nutrition should be very interested in research, or we're never going to be keeping abreast of what's happening, actually. And it was relatively like, I mean, honestly, you guys did a good job. Like, when I had questions, I would either see the lectures again, and I find myself also in like now also in some of the short courses that I'm doing, like I'll ask the silliest questions, and then I'm like, oh my god, that was a really ditzy question because that is really has been covered in the module. So there wasn't really the lectures, hearing the lectures again really, really helped. And the fact that, they were available all the time,
Yeah.
that was fun. So
That's good advice because, sorry to cut you off, but I say
yeah, no problem.
I say the same thing to my batch also. Like, come to the live lectures,
Yeah.
listen to the lecture that I'm taking, understand the concept, just grasp that
Yeah.
and it's recording. Once you're done, ask your questions, clarify all the doubts, then go through the recording again.
Yeah.
That's when you understand it more in depth. You can do it at your own speed. You can do it at your own pace, make your own notes during that.
Hmm.
Right? Because then it just reconfirms all that was taught.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that's exact. I didn't. I mean, of course, there were some concepts that I was interested in. For example, molecular mimicry or something. Then I would go and research that, and then I would like maybe find a book to read about it, or something on like Hashimoto's or something, which I would like wanted more information on. So I just think that like a lot of things, I took it as the fact that a lot of things I didn't understand. They were like trailers or teasers. So I would be like, okay, I didn't understand this. Let me ask some questions about it, which I asked quite like, I mean, I was a pest. Even in the diploma course, I asked a lot of questions. Okay. I was one of those annoying people who would like, stay after class and bug Avneet and then be like, Arey, but this happened. And then, I saw these like antibodies and then this happened, or, anyone else. So that helped me, but also then I took it as a challenge of all these topics, and then I would research or read books myself. So I would urge anyone, frankly, who is, not understood anything or something, to just do it.
We also like faculty. I know the faculty. I know that they're dedicated towards what they teach. Like
Yeah.
they have all the resources and everything, but what they also urge the students to do is go do some research, go do some back study of your own,
Yeah. Yeah.
then ask all the questions, and of course they'll be answered.
Yeah.
And that's how they want to do, because there's no spoon feeding involved.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
college upgradation, it can't be the concept of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really like the fact that even you apply the same ideology, that, I did the research as well. I used to ask questions. Nobody at any point told you that, just don't ask questions.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
It was answered very well. And, even like for both the courses, I would say, right? And even the short courses, like no one has urged us not to ask questions or something. And I always find an answer.
exactly. So there's no
Yeah.
dismissiveness about inquiries or questions, because
Yeah.
you need to understand what you're learning.
Yeah.
But I mean, just asking blatant questions without even going through the recording again or understanding what's already been taught, then that is maybe something that can take off the instructor.
Yeah. So I would just tell, first of all, I think if someone is interested in the course and they don't have a scientific background, they could have a sort of like they should have a zest for research, I say, because the minute that's tackled, you've basically won half your battle. Hear the lectures again. If you still don't understand, ask questions. After you've asked questions, if you're still interested in the topic, use your zest for research.
And it is zest to gain answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So by hook or by crook, you will do the reading, you'll ask the questions, but you
Yeah.
want answers, you'll get it.
Yeah. Be a health detective.
Yeah.
Just, find the missing pieces and put them together using all the tools you have and the resources. And that really works.
Okay. Thank you so much for that advice. I just hope it reiterates with all the people who feel that, I don't know where to start or what to do.
Yeah.
Stuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So, my next question to you is that, see, we have our own approach. iThrive has its own approach to function.
Yeah.
But there's also a traditional and conventional way of, nutrition and how it's taught,
Yeah.
it's practiced. So how do you feel iThrive's approach to functional nutrition actually differs from the traditional nutrition knowledge and education?
Yeah. So, I just feel that a lot of concepts in other nutrition courses are, in fact, outdated because, as we mentioned before, no one is using the new markers. Maybe some nutritionists don't even look at your blood work. Okay, they're just like looking at you and being like, "Oh, you're fat," or "Oh, Acha, you have diabetes," or "Oh, this is your like health concern." But are they delving as deep as we were taught at iThrive? No. Are they just like I know a lot of I have actually a lot of friends who've also gone through the traditional route of like perhaps doing a course or even a degree in one of our colleges here which are just based off nutrition, just nutrition, and they like they can't understand like that there are some foods that are, for example, inflammatory, for example, and they just be like, Asha, you know what? Just have one a piece of paneer for every meal. You'll have your protein, and you will be so thin. And no matter how your blood report is showing up, no matter how your labs are, no matter how horrible you're feeling, okay, no matter how much it's inflaming your body, just and now then you'll get acne. Then you'll go to another like dermatologist, and the nutritionist will still be like, but see, you've lost weight now. So what if you got acne? But you've lost weight now. So that's okay. So just, I think iThrive's whole body approach, also the mental health as we discussed, taking into account how that influences even something as small as weight loss or as big as weight loss, you know, that was really, I think, very different from any course that I researched online. And they just didn't appeal to me because it was very much like, oh, these will teach you like how many calories to consume a day. And when I also felt that a lot of, courses spoke about macros in a very odd way. So when they would talk about protein, for example, a vegan sauce like quinoa, right? We are also like, what about the fact that it also has carbs? What about the fact that it also has fiber? I mean, those macros are ignored. So it's just literally like three very structured macros. And when like most foods are say like even fish is a mixture of fat and protein. But no one is really talking about that in other courses. But you guys taught us that, you know. So I think that approach works so well because you're talking about in one of the courses I think Mugdha mentioned, she was like, oh, why, like someone was asking, oh, why do we say no to having milk? So she was like, okay, the advantages of milk are that the fat is the fact that we get ghee and butter and etc from the fat is what is the advantage of having milk, right? uh and just in removing the inflammatory things like casein and the milk solids make ghee and some quantity of butter much better, nutritionally.
Body, yeah.
Yeah. But and I loved that way of thinking because I was like, yeah, that is so clever because we are actually not deviating too much from the traditional way of like, it's not like we've vilified milk completely and been like, okay, you know what, dairy is just scary and we're going to write it off. But instead we use the best part of the milk and made it for the body, that it was, instead of inflaming it, it actually helped and healed.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than a source of protein and fat, paneer, which people are just using as protein, and they're like removing fat and tampering with all kinds of things and doing all kinds of like, nasty things for it to become low fat, etc. So I think that was a lot of that was very helpful, very, very helpful and clever also, I think.
Great. And maybe my last question to you is,
Mhm.
what would your advice be for somebody who's considering doing this course, and if they have any apprehension?
So I think my advice would be just do it because you have 3 attempts to give the exam. So many people willing to help you to pass those exams by explaining concepts to you, by answering your questions. You hear the lectures. I thought also my batchmates were quite a support. Like we made a study group. We really went at each other, hammered the concepts in each other's brains. I was sick twice, with COVID also, and I still managed to clear the exam in the first attempt. So if I can do it, who's not of a scientific background, anyone can. So my advice would be that if you're even a little interested in nutrition and you want to keep up to date with the new concepts that can help you heal, and you're good with research and that's your passion, just do it.
Amazing last words. Just do it. Okay, thank you
Really.
so much, Nidhi. I love
Thanks, Shagun.
chatting with you. Okay,
It
and
was
thank you
really
so much.
fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. And we'll see you soon with another success story from our alumni, because, of course, we have a lot of those. We've got
Yes.
so see you guys again soon.